this fucked up at the same time, yo. Word.
Get in where you fit
Hey, yo,
in.
for real, son. Like, shit ain't what it used to be, cause it ain't something that's supposed to be. Alright, welcome to Artist Corner. What's your name and where you from?
So my name is Natalie. I'm from Dover, New Jersey.
What do you do?
I currently bake. I have my own business called SUYAPA Sweets.
How many years have you been with?
I would say 3 years now.
So, give me like a backstory. Like, what made you get into it in the first place?
Honestly, COVID happened and I realized that I needed to do something stable for my family that allowed me to be at home with my kids and not miss out on important moments. So I really sat there and I thought about what career path I could take that would benefit me and my family. And baking was what made the most sense at that time. So I started it. I wasn't really like, it wasn't a passion or anything. And then it did become a passion.
So, what is it like, on a day-to-day basis for more than a night being a baker?
Day to day is actually pretty crazy because you feel like you're just always covered in cake batter, icing, fondant. You're just always surrounded by sweets. Like, you literally smell like a bake shop all day. You wake up really early, you go to sleep really late because the best times to bake is either before 5 a.m. or after midnight. So I wake up around 5 in the morning. I get my cakes baked out of the way. I make all of my icing and stuff. Then around 7 a.m. I do start putting cakes together. Anywhere between 8 and noon, I'm decorating cakes already. And then afternoon to 5, that's when the cakes tend to chill in the fridge. And I take that time to run out and get supplies, talk to my customers, make content for my pages, and just work on my business or do personal things. And then from 5 to 8 p.m., that's when I do like pickup windows.
Okay, so is there any influences or role models you look up to?
Yes, so I do look up to my mom a lot because she was always an entrepreneur. She kind of put that in my brain that you just have to hustle for your family. So when I started the business, I was honestly thinking of my mom, and that's why the logo actually resembles my mom. Suyapa is my mom's middle name, and it's mine too, so I named it after her. So she is my inspiration ultimately for the business.
Give us like what is like the worst struggle you think you went through as a baker?
The worst struggle was definitely putting too much on my plate. The first year I started, I really wanted to say yes to everybody for Valentine's Day. So I had like 40 orders, not realizing that I'm a one-person show. And at that time, I had a newborn, a toddler, and a 5-year-old. So that was definitely a humbling experience for sure.
And what is one of your most proudest moments, you could say?
One of my most proudest moments actually tends to happen almost daily because of my daughter, Kaylani. She's the oldest of the 3. She's constantly telling me, like, for example, today, I kid you not, she had to go to the nurse's office for the physicals they do in school, and she was letting me know in the car that she did the physical, everything went well, and she was like, "Mommy, the nurse is so proud of your baking business." And I'm like, "But how does she know that I bake?" And she's like, "Well, I told her." And I showed her your page on Instagram, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like, it just happens all the time, whether it's the teachers, the janitor, like, every day my daughter just reminds me, like, you're killing it, and other people think you are too.
That's dope. So, if you had to tell like a 13-year-old you, what advice would you give to yourself?
I would just tell her to trust the process and give yourself a little more grace, because like you're gonna be an amazing woman. Like, just give yourself grace and allow yourself the time and the space to get to where you want to be.
So, is there any like milestones and goals that you have as a baker?
So a milestone that I have is one that I actually just hit this year. It was definitely being able to be in a position where I could donate cupcakes for a greater cause, reach out to friends that I have when I saw they were doing events, and telling them like, hey, do you have any desserts yet? Like, I'd love to donate some cupcakes for this or for that. Just being able to do that felt like a full circle moment for me. That was a milestone I hit, because now, like, it's not just a transaction. It doesn't have to circle around a transaction. It's more of like a connection, you know, like me showing my friends like I got your back through my business, which was amazing for me. And then a goal that I have is next year is just, you know, killing it with this food truck that we're supposed to be releasing. So that's going to be just great.
Okay, so you know, being a local business, it's kind of hard for people to understand how to support you. Give us 3 ways that we could support you.
3 ways that you could support me is definitely just, I don't want people to get the wrong idea, but when I say like sharing my post, honestly, it could be once a month, once a week if you want, but like all it takes is one reshare. I've had so many people reach out to me because they've said like, hey, I live all the way in Passaic, but I saw that my friend reposted you. Can you make my cupcakes for my engagement? And then that's a customer there already. Like, it's never really been, the customers I get aren't random. It's because somebody else reposted me or mentioned me. So also, if you have had my stuff, I guess that would be number 2. You know, like, put your girl on. Tell them like, hey, this is my girl Nat. She makes the cupcakes, this, and that. Let me give you her Instagram. And then the third would be, I would say, still engagement. Like, anybody you know that has a small business or is doing something for the greater good, just double tap that picture, that video, repost it, like, comment on it. That's all it takes, because I don't think people understand how social media works. Someone might not follow me, but because you liked the video or you shared it or you commented, now it's on their feed too, which has happened to me. And I've seen things and I'm like, wow, let me follow this person randomly. I'm not realizing they're on my page because of my friend's engagement. And then it ends up being that we have like 100 mutual friends. Like, it really works. So the commenting, the liking, all of that honestly works. And that means more to people, entrepreneurs, than actually buying the product, you know, because I feel like we miss that as a small town, especially Dover. We just really have to have each other's backs. So for me, all 3 would actually be the engagement on social media and the word of mouth.
So, have you had, well, if you had a 9-to-5 before, how would you say it feels to be an entrepreneur versus having a 9-to-5?
Being an entrepreneur versus having a 9-to-5 is a night and day difference. I know that people being me, when I first started, there was this idea of like, okay, I'm my own boss. I decide my own hours, this, and that. you do decide your own hours, but those hours, instead of working a 9 to 5, now you're doing 5 a.m. to 1 a.m. straight through. Like that's what the difference would be. The work is harder, and you have to be more consistent, more dedicated, and you have to be passionate, because you're not always going to have the motivation to do it. There's days where I have 3 cakes to make, and honestly, like, we're human. There's days where I'm like, wow, like, I don't have the energy in me to do this, but I'm dedicated. Like, this is my business. This is what I'm putting my time into. Like, we're going to get it done. And I love the experience of doing it. So it really takes an honest entrepreneur or business owner to admit that it's not always, you know, gonna be rainbows and sunshine. It really is time to hustle. If you decide to do that, I do recommend you do it if you want to, but that's the difference. A 9 to 5 and running a business is there is no 9 to 5. Now it's 24/7. Like, it's always, you're always grinding. You're sleeping, you're dreaming of your business, planning. You're showering, you're thinking of what you need to do, you know, to gain more customers, more followers. Like, it just never stops. Everything is a potential business move.
What should we look for in 2024?
In 2024, you should definitely look for SUYAPA Sweets at more local events. Definitely seeing me pop up more on your social medias. More merch. I've been dropping really cute merch. What else? The food truck, festivals. But I have a lot of friends that do a lot of stuff. They host a lot of events. So if you see me posting it and you haven't met me in person, or you haven't tried my cupcakes, it's more of a reason to support my friends' events. You get to meet my friends, support their stuff, taste a free cupcake. I'll give you one on the house if you want to try it. But 2024 is the year that everybody from Dover is going to taste SUYAPA Sweets at least once.
All right, give us your socials.
So my Instagram is suyapa.sweets. That's really the only social I have right now is Instagram.
All right, thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you for having me.
No problem.